start, I just wanted to go over what the goal of my project is. And in just one sentence, the goal of my project is to create a class for people ages 50 plus that will teach them how to use an iPhone. And this class will cover things like sending texts, making calls, downloading apps. We'll get more into that in a little bit. And my goal at the end of this project is to really help them be more adept at using their iPhones. So now that you kind of know what I'm going to do, how did I come up with this project? Well, as it says up there, this was inspired by my grandparents. A couple of years ago, they came to visit us during the summer. And almost as soon as they got here, my grandfather, my 80-year-old grandfather, sat down in front of the computer and he wanted to learn everything. How to use YouTube, how to download things from the internet, how to make icons on your desktop screen. And you know who he asked to help him in all of this? It was me. Well, as I was helping him with this, I thought it would be really great if there was a class, a computer literacy class for senior citizens. And so when it came time to decide on a project, I thought that would be a really great project to do. But as I started researching, I realized I'm not the first one to think of that. And I found there are several classes on computer literacy. Here's an image from the Community Center's Fun Times catalog. And it has all different types of computer classes on it. It's very specific. There's classes on Excel, there's classes on Microsoft Word, there's even classes on how to use the internet happening every single day at the community center. So I thought anything that I do, just a general computer literacy class, wouldn't really be useful to anybody. So before I gave up, I kept researching a little bit more. And I came across the use of smartphones among senior citizens. And I found that it's really been growing. So I thought that maybe I could start a class on that. And as I researched further, I found that 3/4 of senior citizens say that when they try to use a new technology, they need help using it, or they need somebody to teach them how to use it. So I thought it would be a great time to start a class. So the research. Here's the proof that what I'm saying is true. This is a graph taken from a survey done by the Pew Research Center in May of last year. And it showed that 42% of the overall population of people ages 65 plus are using a smartphone. And you can see in this graph that it does differ, it does vary with the population over 65. Generally, people aged 65 to 69 who are college educated and who have a household income of $75,000 or more are the most likely groups to own these smartphones. Now I know that 42% doesn't seem like a whole lot. It's not even 50% yet. However, this number has doubled from 2013 to 2017, and it continues to grow. So that means more and more of our senior citizens are starting to use these smartphones. And as I mentioned earlier, 3/4 of them may need help using them. So this is a really good time to get in and start a class again. So some of you may be wondering whether or not senior citizens actually want to even learn to use a smartphone. Well, this is another Pew Research study that showed that the age group that finds smartphones to be the most beneficial are actually people ages 65 plus. They're the most likely to describe using a smartphone as freeing and connecting. And that's actually 20 percentage points higher than 18 to 29-year-olds. Those are the people that we always see on their cell phones. So when I found this statistic, I thought that it was very unfair, that the group that finds smartphones to be the most beneficial is the group that may not be able to use them simply because somebody's not there to teach them how to use a smartphone. So then I started looking up what I could actually teach in my class, and I found that mostly older adults use their cell phones or smartphones mostly for text messaging, internet use, voice, video calls, and for email. So as I started developing my class, I really made sure to focus on those four areas. So here's the general timeline for my class. In September, I picked this project, researched all the information for it. In December, I found a project mentor. My project mentor is Dr. Rumsey, and she has been a great resource, been really great help. In January, I completed the IRB training, and this month, I contacted the community center and planned the specifics of this class. In the next couple of months, I plan to actually prepare the documents for this class and really lay out exactly what I want to do in each class. In June, I'm going to be running these classes, and I'll see you all back here next year for the final presentation. So, the class. The community center is where I'm going to hold the class. And for those of you that don't know, the community center is a facility that holds classes, does special events, hosts game days and things like that. Here's a picture of the interior. It's a really nice area. Here's the sign outside the community center. It's on 23rd Street, West Main, if you guys want to see it. I chose the community center because it just seemed like a good place to have these classes at. And actually, Abby was gracious enough to give me her contacts from the community center. And she made a really good impression of this entire program to them. So it was really easy to contact them and get a class started. So thank you for that, Abby. So here is the class overview. So I would like to have 4 classes, and this would be run over 1 month. And these classes would be on Wednesdays for the month of June. And the duration for this class will be 1 hour with extra time if needed. And what that means is for 1 hour, I'll actually be teaching everyone the different skills on their iPhone and have them kind of practice those skills. And then for an additional hour, I'll also stick around in case anybody has any questions or they had any trouble during the class or they have some additional skill that they want to learn. Again, I will be hosting this at the community center. I would like to have 10 or fewer people. Hopefully I can get 10. I'd also maybe like to get a couple volunteers from this group if possible so that there's one person, one volunteer per every 3 people that are in the class. This will be advertised in the Fun Time Summer Catalog, so if anybody knows anybody that really needs this class and you forget all this information, it will be in that catalog. And these are the prerequisites I have for this class as well. The number one thing is you must own an iPhone. This is a bring your own iPhone class. Unfortunately, I don't have the funds to provide one. And the skill I want everybody to have before taking this class is that you must be able to turn your phone on and off. I think that this is a fair starting point, and if you can do that, you can take this class. And also, everybody taking this class must be ages 50 plus. Now, some of you may be thinking that most 50-year-olds you know how to use their iPhones. And I agree with you. Most 50-year-olds I know, and I would say all 50-year-olds I know how to use their iPhone. However, at the community center, they have classes that are for very young kids, for everybody else, and then also a specific age group of 50 plus. So I decided to target that age group at the community center. So why just iPhones? There's a bunch of types of smartphones out there, Androids, iPhones, that's just 2 of many. Well, the community center already had a class teaching Android, how to use Android phones. Originally, I was going to teach both iPhone and Android. But when I met with the community center, they told me that they would really prefer just a class on iPhones, that there's been a lot of requests for doing that. And there hasn't been a class like that before at the community center. So I thought this would be a really great time to start that. I also thought this makes my class a lot more focused. If everybody in the class has the same type of phone, then there's less confusion in the class. People can really stay focused on the iPhone and really enhance their learning. So here are the class topics I'm going to cover. In the first class, I want to cover basic phone skills. And I actually will review turning on and off your phone again in this class. But the main things I wanted to do was cover how to resize apps so that you can make them bigger on your phone. I actually didn't know you could do that until I started researching this project. I want to cover how to make calls, how to send text messages, most specifically voice text. Andrew actually brought that up, that his grandparents used that, and I thought that would be a great thing to cover. And if time, I also wanted to cover video calling, how to make video calls. In the second class, I wanted to cover how to take pictures and how to take videos, how to text those pictures and videos, and also how to use the calendar app, the reminders, and the alarms apps. In the third class, I want to talk about accessing the internet, how to turn on your Wi-Fi, how to access the Safari app, how to download apps, and how to send emails from your phone. And in the final class, I wanted it to be a Q&A session where I would cover any leftover materials from classes before or cover any materials that the participants really wanted to learn that maybe we didn't cover in class. So these are the documents I would like to have during my class. I would like to give everybody a step-by-step guide of what I'm teaching. And these guides would contain, like let's say I'm teaching them how to make calls. It would have step 1, go to the phone app, and then next to it have a picture of an iPhone with the phone app at the bottom highlighted, so that as I'm teaching, they can follow along with that guide, or as they're practicing that skill, they can follow along with that guide. I'd like to give this guide to everybody that participates in this class, and I would also like to leave it with the community center if possible. I also want to do a survey of confidence. This is how I would measure my results as to whether or not this class helped people use their iPhones or not. So at the first and last class, I would take this survey, and this survey would have things like, I feel confident making calls on my iPhone. 1 would be, I don't feel confident. 5 would be, I feel very confident. And it would be a scale from 1 to 5. So the results. As I mentioned earlier, the goal of this class is to make sure that people know how to use their iPhones at the end. And I will measure that by a survey of confidence taken at the first and the last class. So here are my sources. So hopefully, I get 10 people to sign up for this class. Again, if you know anybody that wants to take this class, send them my way. Maybe at the end, they'll teach you something new about your iPhone. So now I'll open it up for questions or suggestions if you have any. I'd love to hear them. Yes.
So some suggestions for you would be to visit places like Townhouse. Is it called Townhouse?
Mm-hmm.
Up here, Townhouse, Story Point, other places like that. There are many individuals there that would love to be able to learn how to use their smartphones and smart devices. You probably have a nice captured audience there.
I agree. Thank you.
And since you're in the demographic of parents and grandparents, if you could also teach them how to share videos or to be able to see the videos and pictures that other people have taken, that's invaluable, especially if you're talking any type of distance.
Yes, Gilson? Or if you want to go to Brooke first, she's closer.
So you said that the class will go for 4 Wednesdays for 1 hour. Will it be the same group of 10 people all 4 weeks?
Yes, so they would sign up for that class and they would come to every class.
Will different iOS versions or iPhone generations impact how you teach the class?
I don't think it should impact it that much. Generally from the iPhone 4 to like the iPhone, at least I know till the iPhone 6, how to do like the basic things that I'm teaching are the same. So I don't think it should make too much of a difference. Abby?
This is a really cool idea. I just want to encourage you in doing it because actually in my project, a lot of the surveys, there was a question I asked them, like, what do you want to see future classes? There were like 5 answers that said iPhone class. So,
right.
If you want that list,
That's really
you could contact these same people. But I also wanted to encourage you to have the volunteers in class. It's something you seemed like maybe you would do, maybe you wouldn't do. But I think that is really, really helpful, and it made all the difference in the world in my class. So if you guys are watching these presentations and want to get involved, I would highly encourage you to do it. It was hopefully a good experience for other people who've involved for other projects. So.
Yes, I would agree. Please take Abby's advice. Please volunteer at my class. Yes. All right. Well, thank you, everyone.